I think it's safe to say that a good majority of us have seen or at least heard of ALF before. But for those who don't know, ALF is a 1980s American family sitcom that follows an alien that crashes into a family known as the Tanner's garage. And of course, ALF ends up living with them. ALF is short for alien life form. Today, I'd like to analyze an episode of ALF, or an alleged episode of ALF. Today I'm going to be analyzing ALF Autopsy. If you're unaware, ALF Autopsy is a creepypasta that's meant to be the conclusion to the cliffhanger of the series finale of the show, which saw ALF being captured by the alien task force. And as you can tell, no, this is not real. This is only a creepypasta that's meant to ruin childhoods and scare people, just like any other lost episode creepypasta. But I will admit, when I was younger, this story scared the life out of me due to its disturbing imagery and description. Now, I will not be going over the full story as it is quite the long story, but I will be analyzing the episode. The episode begins with a shot down a dimly lit corridor that appeared to be in some form of hospital. At the end of it, there are two doors with two small windows in an eye level. The viewer describes that as the camera begins to move down the corridor, they hear a whimpering sound that appeared to be pained and very miserable sounding, and quite weak. All the while, they heard alien languages speak as if acknowledging the situation. Digital distortion rips away the image and brings the image back with a new one that shocks them, an image that broke their minds. ALF. Filling the screen was ALF. He appeared to be barely alive and very weak, as he could not move his head. He laid with his head to one side. After multiple tired whimpers and tired attempts, he faced the camera with closed eyes. Digital distortion wiped it out again, brought it back, and then ALF opened his eyes. The strange thing is, the viewer described this as human eyes, as if a person were stuck in ALF's skin. He tried to speak.
Please, I miss you. I miss you.
Soon after, the viewer describes that the saxophone-led theme song from the third and fourth seasons of ALF began to play, all the while showing horrifying images of sickening methods of torture, like a hand being drilled and a leg being crushed by a sledgehammer. The viewer also describes that it keeps flashing the smiling face of Willie Tanner. The scene soon changes to show the camera now laying across the room from the autopsy table, where ALF is still strapped. A doctor walks in front of the camera. ALF wakes up from being unconscious and begins to beg desperately for his life. The doctor is very, very much incomprehensible, but it is insinuated that he is explaining what he's going to be doing to ALF. The scene cuts to black for what felt like minutes, says the viewer. Whenever it returns, the scene is blurry because the camera is swinging with the movement of the arm of the cameraman. Soon the camera steadies and swings around to the autopsy table, showing the mutilated headless corpse of ALF. It jump cuts to the smiling faces of Kate, Lynn, and Brian Tanner in happy conversation. The camera pans along the body to show ALF's severed head, with his spine hanging down as he was pulled from his body. What makes this unsettling, other than the fact that your childhood is literally mutilated, is the fact that ALF's spine did not resemble a spine whatsoever. It more so resembled the bone of a human arm, which is theorized to be because ALF is a puppet. ALF's severed head's eyes blink open and look directly into the camera. The voice of the cameraman, but also the voice of Willie Tanner, says, "Good morning, ALF." ALF screams a very blood-curdling scream into the camera as the credits roll. showing happy images of Alf during the credits, except no music, just the screaming and crying. And that concludes the story of ALF Autopsy. As mentioned earlier, it is nothing more than an internet creepypasta, so don't worry. But for those who may not believe that, there already was a conclusion to the cliffhanger from the series finale. It is a film called Project ALF, which shows him in captivity. And of course, at the end, spoiler alert, they release him to society, realizing that he is not a threat. I will give the creepypasta this. It does have a very, very morbid, twisted sense of humor and a very sick way of doing things. So I will give it the benefit of the doubt. It is a good story. It is just highly dark and deranged. Honestly, in my opinion, possibly the most disturbing creepypasta ever. And that is my analysis of ALF Autopsy.